let's go ahead. So what's the first question people ask about this project?
How do you pronounce it?
Exactly. And here I won't give you a gift before an answer, because there is one simple answer, is you can pronounce it in multiple ways. As long you're correct, as long as you use Scylla, so that's fine. And we're fortunate enough to have people contributing from multiple countries. So originally it's a Greek name, and I guess in Greeks call it Scylla, and in Israel it's called Scylla, and Sting the Stinger called it Scylla, which the flavor we adopted, but it really doesn't matter. And in Korean it's Scylla, which is another goddess. So variety of ways, and take your pick. It's whatever goes, again, as long as you run Scylla. Another question, which I guess you guys have the answer already because you came to the summit, is really another database after the room is packed with variety of databases. So I guess you guys do know the answer, but my answer to this is another question is, what's wrong with this picture? Correct answer. So, well, that's the Scylla community. So that's definitely true. Too many servers. And the problem with too many servers isn't just cost. The more you grow the cluster and you scale out like there's no tomorrow, then it gets more complex. And there are failures. So the mean time between failures is shortened. And there's more labor to make sure that you maintain these clusters. So the more cluster, the more complexity. So we began a journey, and we're on a mission to make Scylla the best database possible for big data use cases. And it's not just about speed, and it's not just about reducing the amount of servers. It's about making this database damn good one and to prevent the situation where there is database for each narrow use case. It's just wrong. So we're on a mission. We just started. I don't believe that we're amazingly good already. I think we're definitely fine and doing a really good job, but that's where we're heading. And everyone who were involved in open source development, and especially within the company, remembers a resembled project of ours, which was the KVM hypervisor. 10 years ago, Avi came along with an idea of how to re-implement a hypervisor. Many years after hypervisors were implemented by VMware and Microsoft, and there was the open source Zen project where we have a lot going on with KVM versus Zen and tier 1 versus tier 2. And today, KVM is everywhere with advantage both in performance and in design and in simplicity when you automate it. And even 40 years after IBM came along with the mainframe computer, they moved to the KVM design. And the main reason I bring this on board is we'd like the same thing to happen within the big data community, and more and more use cases will move towards Scylla and C-star, the engine in the heart of it. And the reason that I can confidently stand here and bring this bold claim is because I know the team, I know the community, and I know what we've got. And there is a relentless battle for excellence. That's how we act. And within the team and the community, we're trying to involve everyone and get the best solutions out there. The nice thing is that we're already starting with good grounds, because we didn't come with a fresh database. We took a lot of good concepts that exist in Cassandra, and we're definitely grateful for the Cassandra community who developed them, and we can stand on Cassandra's shoulders and just improve things. So it's more of evolution. It's more of evolution, not a revolution. And the team is that good that we can always optimize things. And for me as a CEO, sometimes I have trouble asking for quick solutions quick but not dirty, but still quick. And before asking the team for quick solutions, I need to read for an hour at least about the domain to make sure to get them convinced, because they won't surrender for just a solution that the CEO throw on them. And that's why we developed our own TCP IP stack, because the kernel was in our way with Memcache, and in the future we're going to integrate it with the Scylla project better. We already have some users who are trying this right now. In addition, for example, some time ago, I asked one of the developers, Benoit, to write an emulation code that will make sure that we're stable on a flaky storage situation. And he went along and formalized it by himself and developed a full file system that can emulate and inject errors in the best way. So that's really fantastic. And that's why Scylla has a really good chance of being the infrastructure that we all want to have and to base our code over it. To be compatible with the spirit, then I must say that it's not Aristo who coined this sentence, but it was Will Durant who read these scripts and afterwards tried to hit to this pattern. So in this field of big data, there's a lot of other databases which good but not optimized, and that's a shame. There's a lot of technical depth. They used to say about presidents that some of them cannot walk and chew gum. If you're familiar with it, it's actually more graphic than walk. There was some other verb which I won't mention, but databases today cannot walk and chew gum today. And there are a variety of databases and variety of technical depth. It starts with database that most of you know, which is Cassandra, and is doing a good job with high availability. We believe that's the #1 database in terms of highly available, and everybody needs high availability these days, being up 24/7. But the amount of technical depth in this project is huge, mainly because the use of Java, relentless tuning it, working around Java garbage collection, and it's against the future trends of having fast storage and lots of memory. So it's really good to use Java. We're not against it for the client side and from management-based code, but not for a high-intense, IO-intensive applications. Together with it, or maybe because of it, there are administration issues tied to Java, to Cassandra, and we're trying to solve these. But we're not trying to go just offer Cassandra replacement and go after the Cassandra market. It's a good go-to-market strategy and a really easy migration path, but we're trying to develop a database that will be good for more use cases. And if I go through the other databases, then with SQL databases, then there's technical depth for scaling. You're on your own there, or you don't have the high availability, or it's there in the Oracle case, but it's just too costly. Or with Mongo, where it's super easy to start. It's like schemaless and life is good. But the more you scale, you learn that the schema lives. It lives within your data, and that's why it's hard to scale. Or Amazon DynamoDB, where the database itself may be good. I don't know, it's closed source. But the technical depth belongs to your team because you lose control. And when you access the database, the price is per operation. So you tend to query your database less, and that's a bit defeats the purpose. And lastly, there's Redis. It's excellent cache, but let's face it, it's not really a database. It's a write-on-ice thing. So in order to come up with a better solution, we had to go deeper to any type of improvements that in order to make sure that we bring the performance, we bring the latency, and we bring the control. So if you check the technical depth that we have here, we're trying to optimize all of the aspects of a modern computer system, from the NIC to the CPU and the RAM and the disk. And we started with super fast devices, but the more we go, we're trying to address the full scope of the hardware out there, whether it's super fast and big and scale up, or smaller machines with additional abstractions like Docker, and to make sure that we behave well on all of the variety of environments that Scylla will get picked on. And even today, I can say that summer is coming. We're in the spring, according to my watch, and a lot of things will come up as we go. Now, there's a great quote by a guy called Pirley that says that power is nothing without control. And over the course of the past year, we are trying not to optimize and bring you more IOPS, but bring you control. Because distributed database needs to behave well on the face of failures, whether they are local or remote, need to run repair, and all of these needs to happen consistently while you're still as performing as before. So that's what we're been doing over the course of the past year, and we'll keep on doing it. Avi, our CTO, will dive a bit deeper later on. Beyond throughput, the amount of contribution that we've done over the course of just the past year is significant, and I hope that the numbers speaks for themselves. We've done 20 releases over just the course of the past year, which is insane. Some of them were weekly, some of them monthly, sometimes we didn't release on time, but 20 releases, and that's allowed us to add more and more features into the project that you, as a community, asked us to add those features, and we welcome you to keep on asking those features because we would like, there's tons of directions where we can go, and we'd like to make sure that it's guided with your prioritization. There were 20 releases, 12,000 commits, 70 blog posts about new features and new releases. So that's some amazing pace, and we'll keep on working in this space as we go along. We do not intend to slow down. Another fantastic thing about Scylla is that it's opened up new possibilities that were too pricey or too complicated or just impossible before. So the faster the database is, then you can query it more, or you can work with a richer data model and not settle with key value because you can do better. So it's significant. For instance, one theme that we'd love is to eliminate caches. No need to manage caches no more, and there's going to be a session by Outbrain about their experience with eliminating caches later on. Today, our value proposition is 2 or 3-fold. We bundled the best database speed in the industry together with the best high availability solution, which we inherited from Cassandra. It's easy to manage, and we're standing off the shoulder of this huge ecosystem and have projects like Spark and Presto and CaroDB and plenty of others. So that's why we believe that there's a lot of future directions that we can take with this project. We're open for business. We shipped the GA version at March this year. And there are several services that already allow you to run Scylla as a service. And with some, we have business partnership. With some, we do not. We're going to support most of them to make sure that Scylla is an ecosystem and not just one company that drives it. We do, of course, offer a subscription with 24/7 support for end users, and we're open to business right now. We also like to invite partners, which will be resell Scylla or offer it as an OEM. It's really easy and it is an OEM because if you need to ship your code elsewhere, then it's much more convenient to run 3 servers as opposed to 30 of them. It makes sense for everybody in the ecosystem. Beyond Scylla or Scylla++ / what's next. So since we have fantastic I/O engine, which is not just fast, but it's a synchronous engine. It works well with environments where there are a lot of replicas, a lot of issues with the network, fast disk, slow disk, whatever. Because it's asynchronous, then it works well in all of these environments. Bundled with the best distributed algorithm solution, then you can base many more solutions on top of it. Whether you use Scylla as your metadata storage device and you'll develop a storage solution on top of it, or you can pick C-star and do something else with it. There's a variety of ways you can use Scylla or C-star, and we, of course, encourage that. We usually classify solutions beyond Cassandra into 3 buckets. The first one is core database improvements, like the format of the database, the speed of the database, additional verbs, etc. Another one is vertical, like analytics, or things like already happening, like the TitanDB that runs on top of Scylla, and it was very important for us to support Titan. In the future, we won't going to have just the SQL interface, which these third-party work on top of it, but we'd like to integrate these type of third parties better, so you may not copy all of the data to an analytic engine, but do some of the analytic in an aggregated way within the database. And horizontal solutions like adding protocols and search, I think, is one of the interesting directions. It's not necessarily a direction that we'll pick right away, and it's complex and will take time, but it's something that we're highly interested in. Several weeks ago, someone from the community factored the Redis protocol together with C-star, and it gives you, though Redis is already fast, it gives you flexibility with asynchronous commands, and in the future it may have the distributed nature of Scylla.